My mom told me that he came out, but I didn't hear anything. And like, you know, you watch the movies, you watch the labor delivery stories, you're supposed to hear a baby cry. I didn't hear anything, so I was freaking out. I'm like, okay, he's already dead. Like, Mom, what's going on? Tell me what's going on.
I'm feeling away, I'm feeling away, I'm feeling away about you. Yeah, I know you're not my lady, but I still call you baby. Arguments going crazy, now you're tripping up a new thing, but we ain't even got our own thing. Moving slow in the fast lane, I'm feeling away, I'm feeling away, I'm feeling away about.
Welcome back to the Brazy Bunch. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see, I am here by myself. Today I'm going to be doing a story time for you guys. I know we had told you before that there was going to be some videos where it'd be me by myself, Daisy by himself, Zayvon by himself, sometimes us in pairs, sometimes all three of us at once. So today it's just going to be me. I'm going to do a story time about my pregnancy experience and giving birth to Zayvon, because that was actually a very crazy story. And I don't think I've ever told you guys the whole rundown on like how Zayvon was brought into the world. So we're gonna do that today. This story is a little bit emotional for me, so there are some parts that I might get a little bit worked up over. So bear with me if that does happen. If not, awesome. I'm such a crybaby, you guys. So I'm just prepping you in advance. But yeah, I got pregnant at the age of 17. I was, you know, I didn't expect to get pregnant. I mean, what I was doing, I could only expect to get pregnant, but I didn't expect to get pregnant before I graduated high school, or even at that time in general. I was on my way to college. I had already put in like my tuition payment and stuff like that, my deposit for the dorms and things of that nature. So I was like really on the way. Like, being pregnant was definitely a surprise for me. I told my son's dad. We decided to keep it despite my family, some people in my family being like completely against it, only because they knew like I had like my whole future ahead of me, and to them it was like I just ruined my life basically. Zayvon was due in November. I actually ended up graduating high school prior to giving birth to Zayvon, which is awesome. So I did end up accomplishing a little bit of the goal for my family. I got out of high school and my first thing was I want to move on my own. I want to live by myself. I don't want to bring a baby into my mom's house and like raise the baby here. I felt like that was childish. And also like I just wanted my own space in general. I was grown. I just graduated high school, and you know, I was just ready. I was ready to go out and do my own thing, and I wanted to do that with my boyfriend at the time because that was my son's dad. I didn't help with hardly anything, okay, because I was very pregnant at the time. I couldn't lift anything. I already was like, my ankles were swollen, my feet were swollen, like everything about this pregnancy was so difficult for me. There was times where I just couldn't eat. I couldn't even drink water. It felt like freaking sandpaper sometimes. Like, it was so bad. I still was experiencing like a lot of like difficulties with my pregnancy. So like at the time I was having like really bad cramping, which I later found out when I went to the hospital and was checked out, that it was contractions. So I would say this happened probably like 4 days before Zayvon was actually born, where I actually got checked into the hospital. They informed me that I was having contractions and that I was like, basically my body was trying to put me into labor, but they were like, you're way too early. We're going to give you this medicine so that we can kind of reverse what is happening right now. We don't want you to be having contractions. We don't want you to have this baby right now. The baby might not even survive if it was born right now. So they really wanted to kind of like bring me back, like reel me back in pregnancy wise. Like, they were like, whoa, your body is trying to do way too much. They're like, we're going to give you this medicine. We're going to send you home. Please relax. Drink a lot of water. You're dehydrated. That's the reason why you're having the contractions. You're going to throw yourself into early labor if you don't hydrate yourself, if you don't rest, if you don't take care of yourself. So cool, no problem. Obviously, like at that point, I was like, okay, like the whole like water tasting like sandpaper thing, like I had to fix that problem. Because up to that point I was like, okay, well maybe if I drink other things and just make sure that I'm always drinking something, maybe I can, you know, compensate for the amount of water that I'm not drinking with like a different kind of drink, like that might have water in it or something, you know. So I was trying to do that, but clearly that wasn't working because they told me I was dehydrated. So I went home and I tried everything to make water taste better, so that I could keep myself hydrated, so that I could take down bottles at a time. So I was trying things like flavored water. I was trying things like, you know, Gatorades and Powerade just to give myself the electrolytes and stuff to make sure that I didn't dehydrate. I was trying like Crystal Light packets, like everything you can think of to make water taste better so that it didn't go down like freaking acid. That's what I was doing. So I was doing that. And I would say like probably like 2 or 3 days after we moved into our new apartment, I started to feel the contractions again. My back was hurting really bad. I had no idea what was going on, but I felt it all in like the lower portion of my back, like almost like where your love handles would be. But it was radiating pain, like really, really bad cramps on steroids. Like it was really bad. So obviously I'm like, I told my boyfriend, I'm like, I'm in pain. Like, please take me to the hospital. Like, I feel like I might be having contractions again. And this was on the morning of August the 7th, 2011. So I went to the hospital that morning and was basically telling them like, I'm in pain. I was here just, you know, a couple of days ago. They told me I was dehydrated. I'm feeling the exact same way I was feeling that day. And they were able to give me some medicine and kind of like reverse what was happening to me at that time. I really would like someone to be able to do that for me right now. Check to make sure the baby's okay and like send me on my way. So they basically were like, since you've already been here and you've already been given like, you know, the fluids and stuff like that, and it was just dehydration last time, let's make sure something else is not going on. That like, we want to figure out why you keep coming back with contractions and you're this early in your pregnancy. Like, you're nowhere close to being ready to deliver this baby. So we pretty much want to run some tests and see what else might be going on. Like, you know, there's different things that happen to you when you're pregnant. Like, you can develop diabetes, you can have preeclampsia, which is when you have like really high blood pressure, and that could force you into preterm labor. All types of things could be going on. You could have low iron, things of that nature. So they just basically wanted to run all the tests that they could to make sure that I was good and that nothing else was happening. So they did. They ran a crap ton of tests. It was, like I said, it was very early in the morning. So they were like, you know, we don't have a whole lot of doctors here, but they do want to run these. We're going to take these back to the labs, make sure all the results are good. We'll be back in a moment to let you know whether it's positive or negative, and then hopefully we can get you home and send you on your way. Great, no problem. So my boyfriend and I, we sat in the hospital for probably like 2 or 3 more hours after that, and nobody came. So then I sent him, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but nobody came and checked on me. Nobody said anything to me. Like, they kept saying they were short staffed. They didn't have enough nurses and doctors in there today. They only had one doctor doing everything. So it was like a really hectic morning. So I got that. I understood that. I was patient, whatever. Despite the pain, despite everything, like, I still was being very patient. I sent my boyfriend out there. My boyfriend went and was just like, what's up? My girl's in there. She's waiting for results. We didn't get those yet. We need to see like what's going on. We're trying to get out of here. So basically she was like, okay, no problem. Let me check in with the doctor. Let me see if your results and stuff are ready, and I'll be back in a minute. She comes back probably like 20 minutes later. And she just like, the doctor said that you're good to go. Like, you're okay to go home. Mind you, you didn't hear me just say that the positive or negative test results were in. So like, that's literally all she said. She's like, the doctor said you can go home. So I'm like, well, what about the test results? Like, did everything come back negative? Like, what? I didn't get my results back yet. So I'm still waiting on those, and then I would be comfortable with going home. But like, what happened? Like, what did the test results say? So she's like, what test results? Because it's a brand, I forgot to mention this, but it's a brand new nurse. It's a completely different nurse, because at this point, the morning shifters have already left for the day, and now there's like afternoon shifts coming in. And so she's an afternoon shift nurse who hasn't been there all day or all morning. She doesn't know what's going on. And the doctor that actually ordered the test for me has already left, and I found that out through her. So I'm like, she's like, what test? I'm like, well, they ran tests and stuff, and I didn't get any of my results back. Like, I don't even know, do I have a UTI? Like, am I dehydrated again? Is like, what's going on? I was here for contractions. I'm only 6 months. Like, what's going on? So basically she is like, oh, I didn't get any test results. All he told me to tell you was like, you know, you're good to go. Like I basically had to call him because he's no longer here. So I had to, you know, give him a page and have him call me back, and he told me to just tell you you're good to go. But I was like, yeah, I'd really like to know the test results though. So like if we could figure that out. And she goes off, she tries to find him, she comes back and she's like, I'm not really sure what happened with your test results, but I don't see anything on here. I do see that they ordered the test for you this morning, but I'm not seeing any results. I don't see any of your lab work. She's like, so I don't know if that means it just didn't come back. We are short, blah, 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 blah. She's like, but your doctor did clear you, so you're able to go home, and if anything comes up, we'll just call you. So me being young and dumb, I was good with that. I was like, you know what? I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. I've been at the hospital like all day at this point. I've been waiting. I'm irritated. Like, I'm ready to go. So my boyfriend took me home. All day, though, I was not feeling right. Like, all day I wasn't feeling right. So I'm in pain. I'm still having a little bit of contractions. I'm trying to drink my water, trying to make sure that I'm staying hydrated as best I can. I'm relaxing as much as I can. I'm not even cooking for my family or anything at this point. I'm just like really just trying to take it easy. Like, I understand how severe this is now because like I can't even stay out of the hospital for more than a couple of days. So I'm like really trying to relax myself. So I attempt to go to bed. It's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm attempting to go to sleep, but I'm in so much pain, you guys. Like I couldn't even fall asleep. Mind you, I'm only 25 weeks and like 3 or 4 days at this point. I'm 25 weeks and 3 or 4 days, y'all. And I could not, for the life of me, I couldn't get comfortable. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to like rotate a little bit. I'm going to try to move around. It wasn't working. So eventually I was just like, talking to my boyfriend, I'm like, babe, I don't feel good. Like I'm hurting, my sides are hurting, my back is hurting, like everything. Like I just feel like I'm in so much pain and nothing is working. And he's like basically trying to like shoot me off, like relax, it's fine. The doctor said you're fine, like lay down, like relax. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm irritated. So I go downstairs, I try to go to the bathroom. And when I go to the bathroom, and this is going to be a little bit of TMI. So if you're not used to hearing things like this from a pregnant woman or someone who has had a baby and what goes along with that process, you might want to skip forward a little bit because I am going to get a little bit graphic over the next couple of minutes because of the things that were happening to me. So I went to the bathroom. I just went to pee. I went to wipe and I saw some blood. So I was concerned. But then I wiped again and I saw mucus, which when you're pregnant, there's a thing called a mucus plug, which usually comes out just before you're about to have your baby. Sometimes it comes out like right before you're about to have the baby. Sometimes it comes out like a week before. So for me, I'm freaking the heck out because I'm like, I'm 25 weeks. Why did I just lose my mucus plug this early? Like that should not have just happened. I feel like that's not normal. I had done so much research. I was so concerned at this point. Like, wow, I don't know what the heck is about to happen. So I'm trying to like talk myself down. I'm trying to relax. I'm trying not to stress myself out. I'm already feeling crazy. So I'm like, let me just bring it down a notch. I try to get up and just like chalk it up to sometimes you lose your mucus plug early. I'm still like trying to be a little bit in denial, I feel like at this point, because for me, I'm 25 weeks. I'm not about to have a baby. Like obviously I'm so far away from Labor Days. It's not even in my forefront of my mind. So I'm sitting here like, okay, I lost my mucus plug. Let me just get up and go to bed. I'm going to tell babe when I get up there, like it's not good. Like something's going on. So I go to get up. Mind you, I said I just peed. I go to get up and I pee myself. And so I'm like, I literally just went to the bathroom. How did I just pee myself? I'm like, okay, maybe I have like a UTI or something. Like why did that just happen? That's so weird. I literally just peed. I emptied my bladder completely. Obviously I know how to go to the bathroom. I emptied my bladder completely. How am I still able to even have enough pee to pee myself right now after I just stood up? So now I'm like freaking out a little bit. I'm like, okay, like what is going on? Like why did I just, and it was involuntary. Like I didn't even feel like I had to, it just came out of me. So I'm like, so I'm weirded out. But I'm trying to calm myself down again. I'm like, all right, let me just go upstairs. Let me just go upstairs and get him, because this is weird now. Like, I just lost a mucus plug. I just peed myself after I just peed. Like, I need to go. Right here, I get to the steps area, like right outside of the bathroom, and I pee myself again. I'm like, all right, now this is freaking me. Now I'm in tears. I'm in full-blown tears. I'm freaking the heck out. I didn't even want to go up the steps. I was so ready to go to the hospital. I was like, I'm not even about to go up there and play with him. Like, babe, you need to come down here right now. I can't stop peeing. Like, something's happening. I lost my mucus plug. Like, I'm freaking out. I am losing my shit at this point. So he's like, what's going on? He's, you know, trying to wake up and stuff like that. So I'm like catching him up. I just went to the bathroom. This is what happened. This is what I saw. Now I can't stop peeing myself. I need to go to the hospital. Please take me to the hospital. I'm not laying down no more. Cause like I told y'all, he was trying to like shut me up. Like, be quiet, just lay down, like go to sleep. They told you you're fine. And I'm like, no, like something's not right. Take me to the hospital. So he takes me to the hospital. We go through the ER, because like I said, when I'm trying to go to bed, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So at this point, it's like 12 at night. So we get to the ER and we check in, we do all of that good stuff. And I go to the bathroom, and I'm on my way to the bathroom at the ER. I pee myself again. When I'm in the bathroom, I'm peeing constantly, but it's coming in spurts. So at this point, I'm like, I effing think that my water is breaking. Like, this has to be my water. There's no way that I'm peeing myself involuntarily like this over and over and over and over. Like, it's not possible. It's not possible, bro. There's no way. So I'm in the bathroom trying to relieve all of the pee from myself. And I'm trying to make it back to my boyfriend, because I'm like, I'm freaking out. I need to be seen. Like, somebody needs to check to make sure that this is good. Like, I don't get what's going on. Like, I didn't understand it. So then they finally bring me back. I get into the hospital bed. They change me, check all of my vitals and things of that nature. And basically they tell me, like, your water broke. You are 2 centimeters dilated, and you're going to deliver this baby tonight. So our next steps are to get you prepared for labor and delivery. Since you are 25 weeks and it looks like 4 days at this point, we are going to go ahead and check to make sure that your baby is even turned around, to see how we're going to have to deliver this baby. So they did that. They checked to see if he was breech or not, and he still was. He hadn't turned around. His butt was still pointed down, so I could not deliver. I was told I could not deliver my baby vaginally. So basically they said, we're going to set you up so that we can get you in for what's called an emergency C-section. I was devastated. At this point, I'm in tears. I'm 18 years old. I'm thinking that this pregnancy is going to be, you know, a normal one. I'm not going to deliver a baby at 25 weeks. Like, I'm floored. Like, I'm floored. So I'm like, okay. At this point, I know I'm not even thinking that it's possible to deliver a normal, healthy baby at 25 weeks. So I'm not even thinking that that's a possibility for me. So I'm like, you know what? I need, and then they told me, like, because you're going to have the emergency C-section, you can only have one person in the room. So choose the person that you need to choose out of the people that are here for you, and then we'll take you back in about 10 minutes. So go ahead and get that together. We'll come back. We'll ask you who you're taking. We'll take both of you to the surgery room, and we'll deliver your baby for you. And so, like I said, I'm already thinking, like, there's no possible way that I can deliver a baby, a healthy baby, at 25 weeks. So I'm preparing myself mentally to deliver either a dead baby or to deliver a baby that's going to die shortly after it's born. So at 18, I had already lost, like, people in my life, and I already dealt with death. My boyfriend at the time had never dealt with death anywhere in his, like, immediate family or friend circle, so he had never experienced that. But I had experienced a couple of losses with him, and I didn't like the way that I was treated or handled during my grieving process. And so for me, when they're telling me to get ready to deliver a baby at 25 weeks, you can only bring in one person, and it's out of my mom or my boyfriend, who's dealt with no death in his life. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't like the way that I was handled when I dealt with the death when I was with him. And my mom is, like, the best, you know what I mean, at coddling and cuddling and making people feel better about that kind of stuff. So I was like, obviously, like, the smart choice is for me to choose my mom right now, because I'm about to go deliver a baby, and I know this baby is not going to survive this, because it's not rational to me to even think that that's a possibility. So I'm like, I know I need to bring somebody in this room who's going to best keep me together, basically. So I chose my mom. They take us back to the labor and delivery room where they're going to do the surgery. They numb me up. They put me in the robe and everything. They made sure that I was, hooked up to all the good machines and stuff like that. They set up all the sheets and stuff so I couldn't see the lights. It was like I was on an episode of freaking Grey's Anatomy or something. Like, it was nuts. So they do the surgery. They cut me open. My mom's watching the whole thing from what she can see from behind the sheet. And she's like, okay, they just cut you open. She's like walking me through it. And she's like, okay, I can see the baby. Oh, they just pulled him out. But when they pulled him out, like, I didn't hear anything at all. Like, my mom told me that he came out, but I didn't hear anything. And like, you watch the movies, you watch the labor delivery stories, you're supposed to hear a baby cry. I didn't hear anything, so I was freaking out. I'm like, okay, he's already dead. Like, Mom, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. So my mom is like looking and she's crying, and like my mom cries like I cry. So she cries over a lot of things. So I'm like, that doesn't necessarily mean something good. It doesn't necessarily mean something bad. But I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Like, is he alive? Is he okay? Is he good? What does he look like? Is he normal looking? Like, I'm freaking out. So she's like, he's fine. I think so. He's very small. He's very small. Like, she was like, break it down. And I was just like, okay, but he's alive though, but he's good. She's like, yeah, he's alive. He's good. So they walk him over to like the table so that they can do like the tests and stuff that they do whenever you first have a newborn baby. And at this point, I haven't seen my child at all. Like, they whip him straight from the behind the blanket to over to the table, and I'm stuck like this, you know what I mean? You know how they have you on the table and you're laying back and you can't really see anything because, like I said, there's a sheet in front of you to cover up like your insides because they just cut you open. But they take the baby, the nurses go and do the tests and stuff, and I can feel them like tugging and closing me up. There's going to be pressure. There's going to be pressure. We're going to close you up now. You did really good. Your body reacted very well. There's going to be minimal scarring, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not hearing really any of this. I don't care about any of this. I'm waiting to see my child. And so the nurses come over to me. They're like, he just passed the test. I believe he got a 9 on the newborn test, which at this point in time, I can't remember what that test is called, but they literally do it to every newborn as soon as the baby is called. It's probably Googleable. Maybe I'll put it down below of what it's called. But they did that test. He did pass, and they were like surprised that he did pass because he was so tiny, because he was so early. They were like, he's a feisty one. He's a fighter. He's a fighter. They just kept saying that. And so I said, can I see him? I really want to see him. I haven't seen him yet. And so they brought him over to me. He was extremely small and very, 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 very hairy and bright red, like almost like burgundy type, like bright. Like, he was very, very red. Like, I'd never seen anything like it in my life. But basically they whipped him away. They cleaned me up, and they were like, we're going to take him down to the NICU. We got to hook him up. We got to do other tests. We got to make sure that, he gets the proper care that he needs now that he's trying to continue his development outside of the womb. So they took him to the NICU. They took me to go clean me up and put me in the room that you go to after you've already delivered a baby. So I'm in there, I'm waiting around. They eventually bring up the baby a couple of hours later, and they give me the rundown on like what's going on. He had like grade 2 brain bleeds, a brain bleed on his, just one. He had one grade 2 brain bleed. He had a hole in his intestine because it was sick. He had underdeveloped heart valves. He had a hernia. He had so many things going on at one time. But they were like preparing me. We have one of the best NICUs in the area. You're in good hands. Trust me, we're going to take care of him. We're going to do everything that we can for your little guy. We just need you to focus on getting better now so that you can take care of him too. Because if he doesn't feel you or see you or hear your voice, like, his progress won't be as his progress won't be as great, or his not being able to feel your skin, he won't get that bonding that he needs. He won't have anything to cling to. You want to give him something that makes him feel warm, something that he's used to. These are things that he's used to from being inside of your womb. So we need you to get better so that you can take care of this baby. So I'm like, all right, cool, I can try to do that. I have stitches all the way across the bottom of my stomach, so I'm working on getting myself back to even being able to laugh without being in pain. So I was told you can't hold your baby until you're able to walk on your own, and I couldn't at that time. So they just kept me in a wheelchair so that I can go back and forth from my room to the NICU. I stayed in the hospital for about 4 or 5 days. I remember they were like, we're going to give you the maximum amount of time because your insurance will pay for it. And we know you're not ready to leave your baby. So I got to stay in the hospital for like a good 4 or 5 days. I eventually got better. I was able to hold Xavion, I think, on day 2. Just because I forced myself. I was like, I'm not, like, I still am in extreme pain, but I'm not about to not hold my baby for another day. Like, I want to hold him today. So I went down. I finally was able to hold him. We did skin to skin. He's literally like the size of my palm. Like, he was so small. He was hooked up to oxygen machines, heart monitors. He had a feeding tube in one of his nostrils. He was inside of the incubator. I could only touch him through like 2 little holes on the side. And that lasted for a good like 2 months, where he was just like only able to be touched like that and held. No, I'm lying. About a month and some change, he was able to be touched and held only like that. And the nurses would take him out just to give him like a quick bath and stuff. But even still, like, he had to go right back in the incubator. I had to get right back to, you know, being warm. And it devastated me. I cried every single day for 3 straight months, which is the amount of time that they kept him in the hospital. But I'd say around month 2, they took him out of the incubator, and they finally let me like do skin to skin and like really hold him and like, you know, touch him and talk to him and things of that nature. Eventually he got put into like a NICU crib. So it started to seem and feel more and more like, you know, I just had like a normal pregnancy, and I gave birth, and it was fine. So I'd say about 3 months after he's put into the NICU, he starts to kind of look like a newborn baby, like a regular normal size baby. He was born at 1 pound 10 ounces. So that just gives you a little bit of perspective as to how big he actually was. He was 1 pound 10 ounces. And of course, over the course of a couple of days, when you're first born, you lose a couple of pounds. So at one point he was under a pound. He was very small, but he stayed in the hospital. He got 6 surgeries total before he even left the NICU. And when we were finally able to bring him home, like I said, it took about 3 months. So he was born in August, on August the 8th. He didn't come home until like November 5th or something, but his due date was like November 19th. So that just goes to show you, like, they usually keep the babies in there until like your actual due date, or until the baby is like physically capable of being at home without nurses' care and doctors' care. So we went home. That was an experience in itself. He came home on oxygen tanks and machines, heart monitors, to make sure that he continued to breathe, because him being so young and underdeveloped, he would forget to breathe. So like there were times when we had to like remind him to breathe by like tickling his sides a little bit, or even like rubbing his belly, like just anything that would kind of like startle him into breathing. So that was very difficult. Just think about newborn baby with all the crying every couple of hours, having to like get up to pump every couple of hours, having to check on the baby and make sure he's breathing every couple of hours. He had the heart monitor on, which would beep and sound a crazy loud alarm anytime even the wires were a little bit too loose, or the patch was coming off a little bit, or like he stopped breathing, things of that nature. So it was just loud as heck all the time in our house, because it was like so much going on. But we got through it, and it's crazy to look at him in today's day and age, because he's 8 now. He's going on 9 in August, and it's like you wouldn't look at him and think you were born 3 months early. You just wouldn't. Like, it's not possible to even fathom that thought. Like, but to know that he comes from such trauma and traumatic experiences is like, it's crazy to think that he's already been through that much in his lifetime, and he's not even 9. He's not even a decade old yet. He's not even 10. So it's like it's nuts. He was able to get all of those surgeries to correct all of the underdevelopment issues that he had when he was born. He doesn't really suffer from any like delays other than, you know, sometimes he has like the normal like not learning disability, but like he has issues with learning certain things and retaining information. But outside of that, he's a normal kid. He's fun. He's lively. He's outgoing. He's your average 8-year-old kid. Like, he doesn't have anything else that we're like, you know, having to worry about or treat him for. He doesn't have asthma, like, which when he was born he did. But yeah, we're so extremely blessed to be able to have him just come out of that the way that he is today, and like not having to really be worried about anything in addition to him being born premature. Like, we didn't have any huge issues around it. So we are blessed. I am very thankful for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. That is the end of the story. Well, obviously not the end of the story, but like about my pregnancy experience it is. So I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you made it to the end. And if you have any video ideas that you would like for us to do, and if you have any story times you want to hear about, or any stories you want to hear us tell, me, Daisy, us together about something, just drop it down below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.